From the roads you drive on to the water in your glass and the lights in your home, that's Monroe. Running a city of 40,000 people takes a lot of work. In each episode of Monroe Living, Our City at Work, we're taking you behind the scenes to meet the people making it happen. Along the way, you'll discover more about the parks, events, and neighbors that make Monroe shine. Welcome to Monroe Living, Our City at Work. Welcome back to Monroe Living, Our City at Work, an award-winning podcast. And I'm Lisa Hollowell, Assistant City Manager for the City of Monroe, and I'm joined today by two planners who are with the City of Monroe, Megan Brightharp, as well as Bryson Hester. And I like to start with what brought you to the City of Monroe and when was that? And Megan, I'll start with you.
All right, well, my name is Megan. I came to the City of Monroe December of 2021. I was looking for a new work environment, new living environment. I'm originally from Atlanta and I've moved around, and I was living in the Midwest, and it just was becoming very clear that it was time to make a change. So I started looking, and you all found me. So now I'm
great.
here.
And how long have you been here?
This December will be 5 years.
5 years.
So I get to go to the special 5-year celebration.
Okay, we'll need a party. We'll definitely need a party.
Yes.
And so what areas of planning do you primarily cover here with the city?
So I do, well, Bryson is pretty much the only one that has a specialization. So I do all of the planning, essentially. I definitely work with people who walk in and have concerns about knowing where the property lines are, wanting to do accessory structures and fences. I also work with the Historic District and the Board of Adjustment. So any variances or special use permits, and I'm also involved in some rezonings and text amendments and things of that nature. So I just get to dibble and dabble in pretty much everything.
Okay, well, it sounds like a lot. Thank
Yes.
you. Bryson, what brought you to the City of Monroe and when was it?
Yeah, so I came to the City of Monroe in August of 2024. So August of this year, I would have been here 2 years. I came to the City of Monroe kind of at an unorthodox way of coming here. I was a land surveyor first, and I really enjoyed that, but it was kind of the actual implementation and construction of what I do here. And my original degree was in geography with a concentration in urban regional planning. So I wanted to go back to my roots and back to kind of the drawing board, so to speak.
And you are a transportation planner.
That's correct. I'm a transportation planner.
What does a transportation planner do?
Well, we're all about long range planning. So it would not be what you might typically think of when you think of transportation planning. Potholes or anything that's minor repaving projects, anything that's short range, all falls under engineering. Transportation planners, you should really think of it as closest range is 5 to 10 years of the things that I'm handling on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm. So primarily, what would that include?
Oh, that would be anything that has to do with funding, visioning of the future in terms of what projects we'd like to pursue and how they would fit together to make to optimize each project, kind of, so to speak. Okay. And how they fit together.
So you work maybe with the Department of Transportation in the development of the statewide transportation improvement program, and then also CRTPO.
Yes, exactly.
All of that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. As the seat of Union County, Monroe has a seat on CRTPO, and I am the technical member that sits on that seat for the city. And there are different funding pots and different awards that come with being on CRTPO, as well as certain rules and regulations that we have to follow.
So you sit on the technical coordinating committee?
Yes.
And you represent Monroe on that?
Yes.
And there are probably several municipalities
Yes.
as well as maybe Mecklenburg and Union that are all involved with
Yes,
that particular one.
I believe it's 24, 25 different municipalities on the that sit on the board. There's a different amount for the board in terms of the elected official level. We're not the folks who actually vote. The TCC is just a technical advisory board or committee for the elected officials.
Okay, well, thank you for all of that. Very interesting. That is a huge process on how we go about trying to get funds from the state for various projects. I know that there's a big scoring process, and the CRTPO provides scoring, and then we're competing among our region, and then we're competing statewide on certain initiatives. So thank you for doing that. No small job and no small task. But what brings us here today is something that I know you're passionate about, which is Bike Month. So what is Bike Month?
Yeah, Bike Month is a nationally recognized month. Well, first of all, it's in the month of May, and it's nationally recognized in the United States. And there are hundreds, if not thousands, of cities, municipalities, and even counties that recognize Bike Month. And it's basically just a very fun time where everyone gets out in the community. They have different events. They have different forms where they can spread awareness to the community. They can spread messaging to the community. They can take community input. They can engage with the community. It's all about just everyone getting out there and biking and walking within the community. And it's something that has really jump-started a lot of communities' growth around in terms of within that format, in terms of non-motorized travel within the state and especially within the country.
Interesting. Now, Megan, as long as I've been here, and I don't know about you, but I don't remember us ever highlighting Bike Month.
This is our first year highlighting Bike Month. It's been around. Bryson and I have had some interactions with Bike Month prior to our time with the City of Monroe, but we thought that this would be a nice initiative to bring around. You will see people in Monroe on bicycles. How many people, how popular it is, how in demand it is, we don't know. So we're trying to get the word out there that Bike Month is a thing, just so we can get more feedback from the community about what we need to improve or what events we could have to make it more popular and get people outside, either on their bikes or just to get them outside walking.
Okay, that's a good plan. I mean, definitely people being outside, it brings a lot of joy. Mm-hmm. But what about if you don't have access to a bike? I know that some towns that I've been to, when I visited other towns, mm-hmm. you can access a bike through a city portal, a kiosk where you can rent a bike for the day or by the hour. Do we have anything like that in Monroe, and is that something we're even looking at?
We do not have that infrastructure currently in Monroe. Being that this is our first year, we didn't want to just come in doing everything all at one time, baby steps, just to get a feel for what it is that people want or that people feel that they need. We do have a bike survey that will be live during the month of May for people to provide information on, feedback on what they feel that we might need. Coming from that survey, if we feel like that is the next step for next Bike Month to try to get bikes out in Monroe for people to be able to rent, then we will be able to get that information.
Okay, that sounds good. That would probably, I would imagine there would be a lot of interest mm-hmm. in being able to rent a bike if you don't own one.
Right.
So Bryson, where do people ride their bikes? Where can you ride your bike in the city of Monroe? Because I don't think we have any bike lanes.
That's correct. We don't have any bike lanes, but you are encouraged to ride within the roadway. Bicycles are vehicles too. Bicyclists can take the lane, and that's why Bike Month is so important, because it brings awareness to drivers in terms of the type of good driving practices that they should be practicing with bicyclists. They're vehicles too. You need to allow them to bike, especially within the downtown area where the speed limit is relatively low. In terms of that, as you get outside of that downtown area, there are a lot of places where there are 8-foot sidewalks, which are referred to as shared use paths, and or greenways, and you're legally allowed to ride on those with your bicycle.
Okay, so to recap, you can ride your bike on some sidewalks, the ones that are the wider ones,
Yes.
8 foot.
8 foot.
But then the smaller ones and the downtown ones, you can't ride your bike on it, but you can share the road with the
Slow moving traffic. Yes,
slow
correct.
moving traffic. And so remind me, because it's been a long time since I've been on a bike, but do you ride with, facing the traffic or with the traffic, or what is
You
the
ride
protocol?
with the traffic. It's pretty much, that's why I use the phrase take the lane. It's especially within the downtown area where speed limit is relatively low. You have a lot of one-way streets. You treat a cyclist the same way, especially if there's no bike lane, as a vehicle, and you just stay back from them. If you're passing, you have to give them at least 4 feet, and so that your back blast doesn't shake them. But you can pass them as long as you're passing them like you're passing a vehicle. It's the same in terms of same way you treat a vehicle, except for you need to be a little bit more careful, as it's not someone in a vehicle, it's just someone on a bicycle. But you would treat it the same way as you treat somebody in a car or an automobile.
In Monroe right now, how widespread is biking? Do we know? Do we have a lot of people who are out biking on our, city streets, or even on the state-owned roads that are within the city?
Well, I can only speak to what I've observed, and I've observed quite a few folks on their bicycles, but that is the main point in terms of the survey, and that's why we're pushing it so hard. We're really excited to get, in terms of see how much response that we can get, how many people bike and how many people would bike if they felt it was safer, if they felt there was infrastructure, they knew where the infrastructure was. So
Okay.
What we're also learning is that we do have people in Monroe who are cyclists. We have people in other towns that come to Monroe that are cyclists. We want our resources to be as well known as other communities. So there's a connectivity between us all the way to Charlotte for cycling options. We do have long stretches of scenic routes that people can peacefully ride their bicycles, get outside, get some fresh air. We just want the opportunity to make that information known.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. What are the other rules or laws that cyclists have to follow?
Well, cyclists have to follow essentially the same rules as automobiles, in terms of you have to stop at the light. You are until you get off of your bike and walk it. That's when you're a pedestrian. That's when you can cross, at the crosswalk, or walk on the sidewalk, in terms of if you're walking your bike. But when you're on that bike, you're considered in a vehicle. So stop at the stop sign, stop at the stoplight, like you yield at yield signs. It's all the same rules apply, and you're encouraged to, again, follow them to a T for your safety. And that's a lot of what the education in Bike Month hopefully will get across to folks, in terms of that aren't, really familiar with different places where you can ride.
What about the helmets? Is that a requirement, or is it just a requirement for little kids?
Absolutely. A helmet is a requirement by law, and you're encouraged to wear a helmet. It could legitimately save your life one day, and it's some of the helmets today, they legitimately feel like nothing's on. So you're encouraged to wear your helmet. We're having, safety events and pop-up events for the kids. You mentioned the kids in terms of how to wear your helmet and how to wear it correctly. And it makes a difference if your helmet is loose fitting or too tight, like in terms of how effective it is. But we want to build those practices in terms of that helmets are cool. It's okay to wear a helmet. Like, all the cool kids are protecting their brains. So
Yes.
we'll encourage the kids to do that and to wear it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
You're also heavily encouraged to wear visible colors when cycling. If you're able to have bike lights that flash on the bottom of the seat of the bike as well as the front, so people can see you coming from either behind you or in front of you, and to know bike signals, so people driving around you can at least know that you're about to stop, that you're about to switch lanes, that you're going to turn, all of those things. Because as Bryson said, while you're on your bicycle, you are a vehicle. So you want to have the same traffic amenities that a vehicle has, like lighting and turning signals and things like that.
And right in that vein too, I also forgot reflectors. Not everyone has the money for lights or the infrastructure on the bike, but reflectors are very cheap. A lot of bikes come pre-installed with them. Those are definitely encouraged for your bicycle.
What about the survey? How do people access the survey, and how long is it going to be open? We want to promote the survey a bit, I think, with this podcast. So how do people go and take the survey?
Yeah, so for the survey for Bike Month, we're mostly going to be focusing on collecting demographic information, on collecting information in terms of the different events and different things that people would be interested in that have to do with bicycles, and even just tuning bicycles, working on bicycles, how to maintenance, your bike or the different facilities that we currently have available, or facilities that people would like to be available, or things that deter them from riding their bicycle. Basically everything that, and even moving forward, like how we could make Bike Month better in the future, what people would be interested in, all of that is within our survey. So we really encourage people, if you want to make your voices heard, please go take that survey. That's really what moves the needle in terms of with everything that has to do with bicycle infrastructure.
And where can they access that survey? Is it on the website?
Yes, it is. It's on our webpage. It's on under planning, under transportation planning, and it's labeled as Bike Month. And we will be putting out flyers, and but it's readily available on our website.
Mm-hmm. Maybe some social media posts.
Yes,
and we can
Facebook and Instagram and all the socials. It'll be posted on there.
And this podcast.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, we're going to get the word out this way.
Yes,
for sure. You sound like you're a bit of an expert with biking, Bryson. Are you?
I wouldn't say that. I just would say that.
Why are you laughing, Megan?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
The word expert is just funny in general. Like, no, I know stuff.
Yeah. I know a few things about biking, and I'm an active person, but I wouldn't say that I'm a bicyclist by any means. I'd just say that I'm passionate about transportation, and I'm passionate about making sure people are safe, doing what they want to do. If they want to experience, everyone's been a pedestrian. Everyone is a pedestrian at some point. Even if you ride your bicycle, when you park, you have to walk into wherever you're running the errand. So that I'm passionate about getting people to where they need to get to, or being able to enjoy, if they want to bike, if they want to walk, if they're in a wheelchair, if they're on a scooter, if they're in an automobile, if they're on an 18-wheeler. I'm passionate about getting people to where they want to get to safely, and being able to enjoy the ride there as well.
And I can tell you're passionate. It's just infectious. It really is. Megan, regarding this project this month, like, what are some other things that you're hoping to accomplish as we move through Bike Month? Mm-hmm. We're going to have this educational piece and this survey, and what other types of things may be going on?
We will have some workshops at some of the Monroe community centers and some of the schools to get children involved and interested in cycling and learning how to properly fit themselves for a helmet, how to be safe while riding their bicycles. We also have some activities that adults can participate in. We will be publishing on the site a audio tour of Monroe, covering the downtown area, some of the historic district, and some of the older neighborhoods, and some of the historic features outside of our historic district, just to give people the opportunity to see things that they normally would not notice while driving around town. We also have a scavenger hunt of downtown Monroe. I went out one day and just got pictures, just lollygagging on my lunch break, of different things that I probably would not have noticed myself just driving through Monroe. So people will have the opportunity to go find these items, take pictures of themselves and their bicycle, and be entered in a raffle.
Okay, so regarding the audio tour, tell me a little bit more about that.
So we it was piggybacking off of an initiative we already have. May is also National Historic Preservation Month. One of our planners typically leads a walking tour of the historic district. So we already have the know-how to do that. I wasn't comfortable leading a Peloton myself, but I thought it would be helpful to have an audio tour that cyclists could play while they're riding, to go look at different homes and different buildings in Monroe, to learn about some of our parks. It goes by the cemetery, talking about different types of residential architecture, and just being able to see Monroe, get out, get some fresh air, and just have a good time.
I love that. Now, how do we access that audio tour?
So we will be publishing it as a Spotify playlist. It'll be available starting the 1st of May, and based on how the feedback is, hopefully this is something we can do every year.
Okay, and we'll try to put a link in with this podcast.
It'll also be on the Bike Month page on our website.
Okay, excellent. I love that. What else, Bryson, do we need to know about Bike Month that you want the listeners to hear about?
Well, I know that I forgot to mention that when Megan mentioned the prize for the scavenger hunt, we also have a prize available for one of our lucky participants for the survey. We'll have a bicycle that we'll be giving away. So,
Oh, yay.
yes. So, fill out that survey.
Okay, so what else do we need to know about Bike Month?
Everyone's encouraged to participate. You would be surprised about what's in your own backyard just from riding your bike as opposed to driving. I know personally I have tunnel vision. I'm just trying to get from point A to point B, stop at all the red lights, and not have any accidents in between. So there's a lot of stuff that I pass every day that I don't see. But once I'm out on my bicycle, or if I'm walking, I'm moving at a slower pace, or I'm just able to stop easily and just say, oh, I didn't know that was there. So we're hoping people are able to see more things in their community to appreciate and love Monroe even more. In a society that is very car-centric, in a world where everyone has access to some kind of screen, we also just want people to get outside and get some fresh air.
I love that. Definitely. That is a good message. Okay, y'all, let's head out and you can show us the bike and what you're planning to show the students next month and see what you have. So let's go.
Excellent.
So now we're outside in front of City Hall. Bryson, tell us a little bit about this bike. This is your personal bike, right?
Yes.
So what kind of bike is this?
Yes, this is a what they call a gravel bike. It's good for the road and some light gravel or some light terrain. It's a Cannondale, and I've had it for quite a few years. It was I'm not afraid to say on in the garage at my folks' place, and dusted it off especially for this. So.
Okay, awesome. And it does look like it's had a lot of use.
It has. It definitely has. It definitely has. It was it's actually a secondhand bicycle. Originally got it from a triathlon athlete, so it's gotten some love to it, and it's been a really good bike to me, and my mom rode it for a good bit of time as well.
Nice.
So
okay, and I know you're going to be doing some the safety aspects of biking for kids. So do you want to give us a little bit of a preview on that?
Absolutely. So here I have my helmet. I want to encourage everyone to wear their helmet while they're using any type of motor vehicle travel. But what we're going to do right now is just go really quick and give you a brief overview of what we're going to show to the kids, which is just the ABCs of biking. So first is A. A stands for air. So you're going to check your tires whenever you get ready to, this is what you're going to do before you get ready to ride. So you're going to go and you're going to check your tires. You're going to make sure they're all good. Just give them the good squeeze test. And if they aren't, you would want to check them in terms of make sure they're filled all the way to the PSI that is listed on the side of the bicycle. So, or on the side of the tire. So for these it's 35 to 65 PSI. So you want to make sure you fill it up to the upper portion of this range to make sure your tires are safe to go.
And when you go to squeeze it, it just shouldn't have a whole lot of give.
Yes, it shouldn't have a lot of give. Your rims shouldn't be sagging through them, it should be, if there's any give at all, it should be nice and springy.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And B stands for brakes. So you're just going to want to go and give your brakes a squeeze. Here's the rear brake. You can see it contracting. You want to make sure that your brakes aren't askew, and you want to make sure that or they're not kind of off or not touching the actual sidewall of your tire. You just want your brakes to be touching the rim.
Okay.
So
okay, good to know.
Yep. And then you also want to check your brake pads to make sure you still have some pads left and that they do make contact with the brake rim when you squeeze it. The back one looked good when I squeezed it. And we're squeezing this one. Looks like it's all contact to the rim. All right. And then the third is C for chain. So you're going to want to come down here and check your chain. You want to make sure it's properly lubed up, that it doesn't have any gunk on it, and it's able to spin freely, especially if you don't have a kickstand. Looks good to go. So another word is, or the last part of it is quick. So ABC quick check. So for quick, not everyone has this, but this bike has features, it's called a quick release. So for your quick release, I'm gonna lay down for you. Oh yeah. So your quick release, right here, you want it to be parallel with the frame. This is so it can be popped right off. You always want it to be closed, so parallel with your frame. On this side, same thing. Open. And this, even on this bike, you can come and see it actually has an open and closed signal on this, so you can see when it's open and when it's closed.
Well, Bryson, what is that? What is the quick release?
Quick release is so you can pop off your tire really fast. Especially this bike was for a triathlete, so they might have to pop off the tire and change the tire really fast, as opposed to popping the inner tube off.
Okay.
Like you said, in line with the frame. And then lastly is a quick check around the bike to make sure there's no obvious dents. There's a little bit of wear on this bike, and there is a dent on the frame here from previous use, but so wouldn't be good to go mountain biking or anything too extreme, but just for some casual cruises around the street and some general commuting, it's more than safe, more than sturdy.
Okay, absolutely. Regarding the helmet, how is a helmet supposed to fit, and how snug is it supposed to be when you're looking for the right size? So
for your helmet, you're going to want to make sure that it's low and level.
Okay.
And no more than 2 fingers above your brow. So it's low and level. You want to make sure that the chin straps form a V around your ears. And then when you strap it up, it's nice and snug around your throat.
Okay.
And your chin. But you can still talk, move around, drink, be leisure, so it's somewhat comfortable.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you for joining me today at the podcast. And I appreciate all this information. I think it's going to be very helpful as people listen and find out what to expect with Bike Month and what to expect here at the City of Monroe for the future. And thank you for listening, and more to come.